Why are we stressing? Yeah, he might owe 50 million.
Just with those two fights, Canelo and the Pacquiao fight, 400 million, just with those two fights.
Imagine getting a letter from the IRS saying you owe millions in taxes. That is how Floyd Mayweather got knocked out by the IRS.
Stephen A. Smith, known for speaking his mind, recently called out Floyd Mayweather over his money problems. He questioned why Mayweather, who often shows off how much money he makes, still hasn't paid off his debts, especially to the IRS. Smith said that someone who claims to be so rich shouldn't have these kinds of issues, and it makes Mayweather's image look bad. He pointed out that there's a big gap between how rich Mayweather looks and the money problems he's dealing with behind the scenes.
It's up to about $140 million that you're throwing around. I don't understand this, but here's all I gotta say. For those of you that are looking at him and you're saying to yourself, excuse me, according to the reports, he makes about $1.5 million per show or whatever. Why are we stressing? Yeah, he might owe 50 million.
Smith shared his surprise at Mayweather's money choices, saying it's hard to understand how someone who made so much money could end up in these kinds of problems. He believes Mayweather's actions not only raise questions about how he handles money, but also hurt his reputation in sports. Smith stressed that famous athletes need to be smart with their money, and he sees Mayweather's situation as a warning about what can happen when wealth is not managed properly.
You know, kind of sold that. It was great marketing. He's not a boxer, but hey, he was a knockout artist in the UFC. I get it. John Gotti III, I don't know anything about him. I'm not trying to disrespect him. And yes, I'm being smart. I'm not trying to disrespect the grandson of a mobster. Fair enough. But what I'm trying to say is this. When you're great, when you're elite, not just anybody deserves to be in your pristine space. And what I mean by that is I'm not talking about on the street or anything like that. Boxing is your thing.
Floyd Mayweather, also known as Money Mayweather, is famous for showing off his huge wealth. He once said he made $400 million, 0 cents, from just 2 fights, one with Manny Pacquiao and another with Canelo Alvarez. The 2015 fight with Pacquiao alone brought in over $400 million, 0 cents. And Mayweather claimed he got a big part of that money. But even with all that income, he faced financial trouble when the IRS filed a claim against him for $22,200,000, 0 cents, in unpaid taxes from 2015. This made many people question how he was handling his money, especially since he often talks about how rich he is. Mayweather responded to the IRS by saying he had already paid $26 million, 0 cents in taxes for that same year. He questioned why the IRS still wanted more and said his financial empire was strong. He brushed off the concerns about his money problems. Still, this situation shows a clear difference between what Mayweather says about his wealth and the money issues he's facing. It also reminds everyone, even top athletes, how important it is to manage money carefully.
He's fighting again, and they say that he's fighting for money. How could that be?
Your team. You know, it's all about who you surround yourself with. I don't know who's his promoter. I gave him the option before. Well, me and Manny spoke before about fighting the first time. I think I offered him, 40 million. I don't know if it was, but I told him I would wire him 20 million within 48 hours. And then at that particular time, he said he wanted 50-50, and he got off the phone. And at that time, I think I was going to make for that fight probably 75 million at that time, somewhere upwards of 75 million. But it's all about timing. I took my time, I waited, we communicated.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. often talks about his tough childhood and how it shaped who he is today. He grew up in New Jersey, living in a small one-bedroom apartment with several family members. Life wasn't easy. Sometimes they didn't even have electricity. His mother struggled with drug addiction, and his father, Floyd Sr., was in jail for much of his early life. Despite all this, Mayweather found comfort and purpose in boxing. He said, "I basically raised myself," showing how he learned to be independent from a young age. His father, a former boxer, taught him the value of discipline and told him to avoid the media and let his skills in the ring do the talking. Mayweather's strong mindset is clear in his words: "It's never good enough." This shows how he's always pushing himself to do better and doesn't care much about what others think. He rarely responds to criticism and stays focused on his goals. His journey from a difficult childhood to becoming one of the most successful athletes in history is a powerful example of strength and determination.
Before I can take care of anyone outside the home, I must take care of home first. So what I believe in every day is I strengthen my children and my family by giving them wisdom about life. In the boxing world, my dad taught me also, the less you get hit, the longer you can last in the sport of boxing. That's anything in life. For a person that's working a 9 to 5, an everyday job, you want to take as less punishment as possible on the job so you can last a very long time and feed your family. And then my dad also taught me this: it's never good enough. No matter what, it's never good enough.
Stephen A. Smith has openly criticized Floyd Mayweather for continuing to take part in exhibition fights against easier opponents like Conor McGregor. Smith finds it hard to understand why Mayweather, who made around $280 million, 0 cents, from the McGregor fight alone, would keep doing these kinds of matches. He believes these fights are mainly about making money and not about real competition. According to Smith, someone as great as Mayweather should not be stepping into the ring with just anyone, even if he is retired. Smith also feels that these exhibitions are hurting Mayweather's legacy. He thinks the opponents Mayweather picks now are nowhere near the level of the fighters he faced during his best years. This, he says, makes Mayweather's career look less impressive. Smith believes that a legend like Mayweather should protect his reputation instead of risking it with these low-level fights. In addition to the criticism about the fights, Smith also pointed out Mayweather's financial troubles. He mentioned the $22,200,000 0 cents tax bill Mayweather faced from the IRS in 2015. Smith questioned how someone who made so much money could have such problems. He said that with better financial planning, these issues could have been avoided, and it doesn't make sense for someone so rich to be in that kind of situation. Mayweather is also known for showing off his wealth. In May 2024, news came out that he gave $30,000, 0 cents, in cash to 3 homeless men outside the Crypto.com arena in Los Angeles. While many praised this act of kindness, others began to doubt the story when Mayweather posted photos from Dubai around the same time. This made people wonder if he was really there in Los Angeles or if the story was made to look better than it really was. The timing of his Instagram post raised questions about whether the act was real or just for show.
So where is Floyd Mayweather? Is he still stuck in Dubai? Is he back in the United States? Because there's been a lot of contradicting stories coming out about this, but we do have an update of exactly what's going on. And I do think there is some lying involved. I don't know who's lying, but somebody is lying. And that's what we're going to figure out in today's video. By the end of this video, I hope we figure out where Floyd Mayweather is. So on the 2nd of May, TMZ came out with this article. It says Floyd Mayweather gives $30K to a group of homeless men before Clippers game. Now this comes amid, rumors of Floyd Mayweather being stuck in Dubai because he owes people money. And, these are coming from trustworthy sources: Gervonta Davis, Floyd Mayweather, people who know about Floyd Mayweather's inner life. But back to TMZ. So they reported Floyd Mayweather was courtside for last night's pivotal Clippers versus Mavericks game. But before money got to the arena, he was handing it out, blessing 3 homeless men with $30K. Now, there are no pictures. There is no video of this happening, but there is an official TMZ article, and TMZ usually gets it right. TMZ also said, we're told Mayweather began talking to the guys and decided he wanted to help. So he busted out his backpack and blessed each guy with 10 racks.
This situation shows how hard it can be for celebrities to manage their public image. Floyd Mayweather recently claimed he gave money to homeless people in Los Angeles, and the story quickly spread. But at the same time, he posted pictures of himself in Dubai, which made people doubt if the donation really happened. This led many to question whether the story was true or just something made up to make him look good in the public eye. The difference between what Mayweather said and where he actually was made people skeptical about his real intentions. While charity can improve a celebrity's image, making a false claim or exaggerating the truth can damage it. In this case, many felt that Mayweather might have used this story to promote himself rather than to help others. The whole situation made some people feel that he wasn't being honest. Mayweather, once known as one of the greatest boxers, is now also facing criticism over his money problems. Even though he earned huge amounts, like $220 million, 0 cents, from his 2015 fight with Manny Pacquiao, he still had issues with the IRS. In 2017, the IRS filed a $22,200,000 0 cents tax lien against him for unpaid taxes from 2015. Mayweather asked for more time to pay, saying that most of his money was tied up in things he couldn't quickly sell, and that he needed to wait until after his fight with McGregor to settle it. The IRS, however, said that someone with Mayweather's income should be able to handle his tax bills. This raised more questions about how he manages his money. Many people started to wonder if his flashy lifestyle and displays of wealth were real or just for show. Even though Mayweather says he does exhibition fights for fun, not money, the public is beginning to doubt that. This situation reminds us that keeping up a certain image is not easy, and that being honest and careful with money matters a lot, even for superstars.
But he's just flaunting, as you said, he's flaunting his opulence. He's also flaunting basically his middle finger at the IRS. You cannot do this. No. You will lose. This is one foe you can't outrun or outdance or outsmart or play defense on. You just can't get away with it. You can try for a while, but the clock is just, that meter is just running and running and running, and it's just going straight up. Interest and penalties as we speak. Another day just passed, another interest penalty. And I don't get Floyd, because he's so out there with it, as you say, on Instagram. So it's not like he's trying to hide his opulence. He is throwing it out for all to see with all those cars and all the, it's outrageous, and he's earned it.
Joe Rogan recently shared his surprise about Floyd Mayweather's expensive lifestyle and how he handles his money. On his podcast, Rogan seems shocked by Mayweather's collection of luxury items, including million-dollar watches and lots of diamonds. He said he needs money to keep coming in if you're going to spend like this, showing concern about whether Mayweather can keep up with such a costly way of living. This kind of spending has raised questions, especially since Mayweather has faced issues with taxes over the years. In 2017, the IRS said Mayweather owed $22,200,000 0 cents in taxes from 2015, the year he earned a huge amount from his fight with Manny Pacquiao. Mayweather claimed he had already paid $26 million 0 cents that year, but problems still remained. Then in 2024, he paid more than $18 million 0 cents to the IRS, showing that he might still have tax debts even after retiring. These situations show that even people who earn a lot of money can have trouble managing it. Rogan's comments remind everyone that no matter how rich you are, being smart with money is very important. Floyd Mayweather's former accountant Dave Hall shared that the boxer often had a very relaxed attitude toward large amounts of money. Hall said Mayweather would treat sums like $50,000, 0 cents, $100,000, 0 cents, or even $200,000, 0 cents, as small change, and didn't think they were worth keeping track of. This mindset showed that Mayweather believed money was always flowing in, so he didn't worry about the details, but this kind of thinking raised concerns among wealthy investors who know the value of careful financial planning. Hall explained that when it comes to big investments like owning a mall worth $100 million, 0 cents, poor tax planning can lead to major losses. For example, if a $10 million 0 cents profit is taxed at a higher rate, say 37% to 40%, instead of the expected 20% to 24%, it can cost millions. Changes in tax laws, such as removing the step-up in basis, could make things worse in the future. Mayweather's loose handling of his finances is a warning about the dangers of not paying attention to the details, especially when dealing with large amounts of money.
How much money do you have in your bank account?
Which account? Which bank?
You have more than one account?
Absolutely.
I don't even have one account. Give me the amount of money you have in one of your accounts.
200 million, 300 million.
Dollars?
Yeah, in different accounts.
Floyd Mayweather's former accountant revealed that the boxing star often didn't take large amounts of money seriously. He shared that Mayweather would easily brush off sums like $50,000, 0 cents, $100,000, 0 cents, or even $200,000, 0 cents as small and unimportant. This laid-back attitude towards money caused concern among wealthy investors who know that even these amounts can make a big difference in financial planning and long-term success. The accountant also explained how ignoring tax details can hurt financially, especially when dealing with big investments like malls or commercial properties. For example, if someone makes $10 million, 0 cents, in profit, but gets taxed at 37% to 40% instead of the usual 20% to 24%, it leads to much higher tax bills. This shows how important it is to carefully plan finances and understand tax rules. While Mayweather made a lot of money in boxing, his relaxed approach to managing it raises questions about how well he's protecting and growing his wealth.
Be able to do a solo 401k, but you can do solo self-directed 401ks, $20,500 contribution that can go in there from you. You can also have employers. When you get up to 50, I think it's actually $64,000 into those this year. So, I mean, again, large amounts you can get inside of there, which if you got the extra money, then builds up to where you can buy properties. Maybe initially you're just doing loans, but over time you're starting to buy actual assets inside of there, and all that's growing tax-free.
Yeah. So do you see any issues coming up front? Any issues coming up, or any challenges, or anything that can affect, tax changes that are coming? Obviously, tax rates are going up, but anything that's, anyone that's listening, that's a real estate investor should be aware of, or?
Yeah. The biggest thing that they're talking about is increasing the long-term capital gains rate, getting it back up to ordinary tax. Now, what's being discussed is anything over $1 million transaction. So you'd have many people that are getting into just residences, making 100, 200 grand here or there, $50,000 not going to affect. But for those large investors, obviously that's becoming very concerning, because if you've got a building, big mall or something else, it could be worth, $100 million. All of a sudden you've got a $10 million profit on there that's now going to be taxed at 37 or 40 versus 20 to 24. Huge difference. So that's the biggest one people are keeping their eye on. There are some discussions that the step up in basis would go away with death, that people would no longer be able to get real estate with the step up in basis. But both of these have kind of fizzled. Again, they were part of Build Back Better that President Biden could never get enough support for. And with all of the other economic issues that are going on right now, they've basically put it all on hold and said, look, we're not going to make any of these big changes until we can get inflation and some of these other things under control.
I saw a thing the other day that I guess it was up to 9.1% inflation.
Yeah.
And was that yesterday, I think. It
Yesterday,
was all over Facebook that it went up like even more. And I know that we got quoted on a refinance for like 8%.
Floyd Mayweather's business partner has revealed worrying details about the boxer's finances. Even though Mayweather has earned over $1,200 million 0 cents in his career, his expensive lifestyle is using up his money faster than it comes in. He spends a lot on luxury cars, private jets, and expensive homes, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars every month. His partner said that even if Mayweather makes $100 million 0 cents a year, his spending still goes beyond his income. This money problem gets worse because Mayweather also owes a lot in taxes, including big debts to the IRS. While he is known as one of the richest athletes, these facts suggest that his financial situation is not as strong as it looks. The mix of high spending and big debts raises serious questions about how long he can keep his wealth. Mayweather's money troubles show how important it is to manage wealth carefully, no matter how much you earn. Despite making huge amounts from boxing and other businesses, his heavy spending has caused large debts. Now, he is facing legal problems like unpaid taxes and wages. His story is a clear warning that without good financial planning, even the richest people can face serious money problems.
Financial distress.
Ashy. Look, man, you know, we both made some real money, but you know, you start burning through, you make $2-3 million a year, you burning through $100,000 a month. You ain't really got that much money.
Shit, he probably spending way more than that.
No, I'm talking regular dudes.
I see what
we
you're saying.
say we make $3 million, we burning through $100,000 a month. We really don't got no paper like that saved up.
That's a fact.
So even if he's making $100 million, if he's burning through $5, $6, $7 million a month, you still got taxes, you still got responsibilities. So I don't know nobody's bag, but you know, me and you, we real. We never count nobody paper. So
not at all.
I hope he got $10 billion. And I hope he get out of this problem.
That's a fact, because you would figure he should be able to just cash him out. Like whatever the tab is, you know, he should be able to wire that.
Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and stay informed. Stay tuned for more updates, and let's keep our news accurate.